The richest man on Earth is losing the AI race. The top three are Google, OpenAI, and Anthropic. Musk's xAI is not on it, but he owns 4 weapons they cannot buy. And Weapon 4 is already parked in your driveway, collecting data they will never touch. That top 3 is what we see today, and you can rank them by what each one owns. OpenAI owns the front door. By its own count, roughly 800 million people use ChatGPT every week, and for most of them, ChatGPT simply is AI. Google owns the pipes with Gemini shipping on billions of phones and browsers Google already controls. Anthropic owns the server room. When engineers and businesses pick a model to build their products on, surveys keep showing they pick Claude more than anyone else, especially for coding. The Office suite itself still belongs to Microsoft, which ships these models inside Word and Excel, to name a few. The front door, the pipes, the server room, that is the table. And this fight is personal. Musk helped create OpenAI. He co-founded it in 2015, left in 2018. So before you write Grok off or crown the incumbents, remember that betting against Musk has been expensive for 20 years. Rockets that land themselves, cars that forced an entire industry to follow or die. So this is a scoreboard, not a hit piece. 4 weapons the top 3 cannot buy. The first one is a warehouse in Memphis. The last one is parked in your driveway. My verdict comes last. Weapon 1, speed of steel. When xAI needed a supercomputer, the normal move is to rent one from a cloud company and wait in line for chips. Musk bought an old factory in Memphis instead, and his team stood up roughly 100,000 GPUs in about 122 days. Insiders called that timeline impossible until it happened. The machine is called Colossus. It has kept growing since, and the stated target for its successor is 1 million of those chips. Why does it matter? Because in AI, compute is capability, and the waiting line for top chips stretches years. The steel shows up on the leaderboard. Grok went from a late-arriving joke to the frontier in about 2 years, the fastest catch-up anyone in this race has pulled off, and Grok 4.6 now goes benchmark for benchmark with Anthropic's newest Claude. That speed did not come from clever math alone, it came from Memphis. While incumbents are still scheduling capacity, Musk is already building the next one. And the catch-up just got a second engine, as xAI just bought Cursor, the AI coding tool that predated Claude Code. 1 deal, 3 prizes, elite coding talent, a river of real-world coding data, and a direct raid on Anthropic's home turf, because Cursor was one of the biggest doors developers walked through to reach Claude. Buy the door, and you can point it at your own model. That is not polite competition. That is taking the server room by the front door. Musk says the follow-up to ground-based data centers is data centers in space. Solar-powered, launched on his own rockets, linked by his own Starlink satellites. Weapon 2, the distribution he does not have to ask for. xAI actually owns X, a feed with hundreds of millions of users by its own count. And Grok does not live in an app you download. It lives inside the timeline. See a post, tap it, ask Grok. Default placement is the most expensive real estate in technology. The feed is also a fire hose. News breaks on X before it reaches almost anywhere else, and Grok drinks straight from it. The top 3 models will search the web when you ask. Grok is standing in the room where the conversation is happening, posts from minutes ago included. While the others are still indexing yesterday, Grok is already answering with what just happened. And Grok is positioned for a crowd the top 3 keep frustrating. Musk pitches it as the AI that answers the question you actually asked. No lecture first, fewer hedges, fewer topics, ruled off limits, and xAI even publishes the instructions that steer Grok for anyone to read. If you have ever asked a chatbot a fair question and gotten a safety sermon instead of an answer, you are the customer he is hunting. Musk is busy taking the users who want straight answers. Weapon 3, money and a 20-year habit of doing challenging things with it. When Musk enters a race, he buys the whole supply chain. Tesla designs its own chips. Rockets and cars worked exactly the same way. SpaceX built its own engines and now launches more than every rival combined. Tesla built its own batteries and spent years as the only company selling electric cars at a profit. And he owns something nobody else at the table even has a version of: Starlink. Millions of people already get their internet directly from him. Sky to dish, no cable company in between. Play that forward 5 years, and Musk could be the only AI player who owns the model, the data center, the rocket that launched it, and the internet connection that delivers it to your house. This is Weapon 4, the one parked in your driveway. Every Tesla on the road is a rolling camera rig, and there are millions of them recording billions of miles of the real world. Intersections, snowstorms, and accidents that no simulator could come up with. The top 3 trained their models mostly on the internet: text, images, code, words about the world. Musk's fleet records the world itself. And if the next phase of AI is machines that act in the physical world, that data set is the moat. Nobody can buy 10 years of real-world driving data because nobody else has millions of cameras on wheels already deployed. This weapon cannot be copied at any price. The bet is that the race changes terrain, from answering questions to performing actions that do things that can't be found in a text dataset. That is why his fleet, his chips, and Optimus, his humanoid robot, point at the same target. And every Optimus he ships becomes another camera rig feeding the loop. Musk has said, SpaceX data from rockets, satellites, and Starlink itself will feed the training of Grok 4.7. If orbit plus road does what Musk believes it will, 4.7 is not built to join the leaderboard. It is built to top it. So why is the top table not shaking? Because each seat holds ground, Musk cannot storm overnight. Google invented the T in GPT, the transformer, the core technology every one of these models runs on. Add its own chips and billions of default devices, and Google is the hardest player to starve. OpenAI owns the habit, and habits do not switch because a rival has better hardware, and Anthropic holds the trust seat for now. But here is the twist nobody at the table wants to admit. The trust seat is suddenly up for grabs. Sam Altman has spent 2 years fighting headlines about broken promises and an abandoned nonprofit soul, and polls show public faith in AI leadership sliding. Anthropic has the opposite problem. Critics say Dario Amodei warns about AI doom so constantly that the warnings start to sound like marketing, and doom is a strange brand for a product you want inside every business. So the scoreboard is genuinely split. Musk wins on steel, on the feed, on the checkbook, and on the physical world. The 3 still win on brand, pipes, and the deep bench, and the trust seat is the one chair nobody firmly holds. If Musk wins his lane, you get AI that arrives without friction in your car, your feed, and your internet connection, from a player whose costs keep falling because he owns every layer. So here is your homework, and it takes 10 minutes this week. Pick one real task: an email, a plan, a piece of code, a budget. Run the identical prompt through all 4: Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok. And use this exact one. Here is a real task from my week. Complete it. Then tell me what you would need from me to do it twice as well. Score all 4 on accuracy, on voice, and on how much fixing the result needed. Then tell me in the comments which of the 4 is winning in your workflow, as the answer may surprise you. Until next time. If this helped you make sense of where AI is actually going, do 2 things. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and drop your questions in the comments. We'll see you next time.